Welcome back to the Gridiron Grind with Andrew and Lance. Today we're going to do a full first round mock draft, back and forth style, where one of us does evens, one of us does odds. Lance will take care of the NFC East. I'll take care of my NFC North. We're going to draft the full first round, see how we do, see if it lines up with how next Thursday is really going to line up. But first, Lance, I have a very important question for you. Did you bring your pillow?
I did. The eagle's nest was
The
secured.
eagle's nest. Very nice.
Yep. I literally was getting ready to go out the door yesterday morning and I was like, hold on, cannot forget
Mm-hmm.
this. And let me tell you, Andrew,
Mm-hmm.
it did make a difference. It did. Although on the downside, I'm pretty sure I got food poisoning yesterday. So
Oh no.
that was not fun. But I definitely got more sleep than I would have gotten without the pillow. So yeah.
Okay.
If the 90s, decided to come back to now and bring another bowling ball pillow commercial, I'm the candidate. I would have the horror stories talking about I was like, all
Mm-hmm.
the lack of sleep because I didn't have the right pillow. So
Yep.
I'm here,
You could
guys.
be
I am available at a decent
that
price.
that should be our sponsor, the sponsor of the show.
Dude, I can't even remember the name of the pillow though. That's the part that's so sad. I can vividly remember the commercials, cannot
Mm-hmm.
remember the name of the pillow company. So,
That's funny. That's funny. Maybe we should just do my pillow. My pillow's always been a good pillow.
or the purple pillow. I feel like that's kind of it's got a cult following. Maybe that's more of a, oh, I mean, but you're in Colorado. I mean, like I've heard about the purple
Mm-hmm.
pillow in Utah and Idaho, but I mean, I've never had one. So I honestly can't vouch for that one.
We'll have to test them out. We're open for sponsorship, so any pillow company, reach out to us and we could take a look at it and test your product out.
I'm just looking it up right now. I want to see if I can find the name of,
Okay.
oh, I think it was the Bambillo.
The Bambillo.
Wow. Yeah, man. 1990s. Ugh. I shouldn't want to look back at that because that just makes me feel old. But the Bambillo. Anyway, all right. I'm sure we've got more important topics that we would like to cover today, Andrew, besides me reflecting back on 90s commercials.
No, that's very important. That's very important. But if we need to get past pillows, we can look into a full first round mock draft. Um,
Did before we get into that, did we want to touch
yes.
on we mentioned this in our last episode, so I'm just wondering, do we want
Hmm.
to
I know
bring
where
up
you're going with this. Going with someone who quit her job.
what do you make of it, man? Is that
Yeah, so it's it it just I don't want to say it's a bad look, but it kind of shows guilt all over her face whenever investigation's ongoing and she's like, "Oh, by the way, I quit." I don't know. It's tough not to read that into it, in my opinion, to where there's any kind of not guilt. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm suggesting they did something really, really bad. I'm not suggesting that, but for her to be completely innocent, why would you have to quit? I don't know.
I I'm the part that I'm perplexed by because I read Diana Rossini's letter
Hmm. Me
because
too.
I mean we know Andrew, we both know how we have felt about her reporting, but I think what
Hmm.
we're talking about is not her reporting, we're talking about her as a person.
Right.
And so I
Right.
approach it from a different angle. She's a person, she has a family, kids. This is going to upend things. And so I don't want that for her. But the part I'm
Hmm.
just thinking through in my head is she kept referring to the fact that name getting dragged in the mud, already answered I was innocent.
Hmm.
But the part I just don't understand is that they never would have to fire her because her contract is up in June. Like there's a way out for her and them to not even have to have an awkward exit. They can just decide, given the current
Yep.
circumstances, we're just not extending the contract. And I think that would be a way to say she's not punished. We're just not continuing it because of this current dynamics. right?
Hmm.
Whereas now resigning, it's like it really does give a guilty vibe. And
It does. I don't know how else you can read into that. And again, I'm not suggesting that her and Vrabel did something that's going to affect relationships or anything like that. I don't want to suggest that, but it does seem like she's not fully innocent if she has to feel like she needs to resign.
well, I mean, the part I was wondering about is, you know, there's degrees of infidelity, right?
Sure.
There's degrees of promiscuity, maybe that's better to say. I don't know if infidelity is the right word, but maybe there's a text out there, or maybe there's recordings out
Hmm.
there that if they got out would just paint an even worse picture of the
Hmm.
whole Vrabel Rossini dynamic. I don't know. I just I share all this like as far as the reason I just wanted to bring it up was Skip Bayless, who
Hmm.
take that guy for what he's worth, but he is using this as an opportunity to rib and say that there are those that trade favors, right, among reporters. And he didn't just single out
Hmm.
female reporters, but just reporters in general. He did
Hmm.
refer to some specific examples of female reporters maybe exchanging for romantic favors, we'll say. Uh,
Hmm.
but it's an interesting situation. It does make me wonder though, is this the end of her for her career? I don't know. I guess the part is like because your credibility is really important, and if this is
Hmm.
the way you're getting your sources, it taints it, right? And
Yeah.
so it's kind of a weird dynamic. I guess the part I'm trying to think about is how much of it was, having a good relationship and getting along with people, and you naturally just get information, and how much of it is you are trading favors and not just getting information, but you're also becoming a megaphone, whether it's true or not, right? You're just
Right.
distilling information, whether it's true or not. And that's what makes the whole situation frustrating because with the AJ Brown stuff, it has been so hard to know what the truth is.
Hmm.
Uh,
Hmm.
because I still think there's a world out there where AJ Brown comes back and that this has been blown up and made a bigger deal. And there have been people that have said, well, the Eagles just need to come out, AJ Brown just needs to come out and say things, but they've done it in the past. They've clarified things that said, hey, we love AJ Brown. AJ Brown says, I've loved Philly. And eventually it's like,
Hmm.
how many more times do I have to tell you what I've already told you? Like, this is it. This is
Right.
all I'm saying. So it makes the whole situation so confusing. But I know that we had other things we wanted to talk about, but I was just curious to hear where you were
Yeah.
approaching it.
Yeah, it's disappointing and it's difficult no matter which way you look at it. It's not a good look for Diana and for like sucks to say it, but for female reporters across the board. It just
Mm.
it's a very unfortunate situation for anyone who is trying to make a name for themselves as a woman in this industry because now one of the top women is being investigated for possible some incorrect relationship usage. So it's tough. It's yucky, it's ugly, and her resigning just kind of makes it look worse.
I hope this isn't too much of a black eye on women. I just think that would be unfair
Yeah,
because um,
I
there are
hope so.
so many good female reporters across
Hmm.
not just the NFL but other leagues. And I think that that'd be wildly unfair because
Absolutely.
like, are you going to suddenly stop employing male quarterbacks to be quarterbacks if they have inappropriate relationships like Deshaun Watson? Like, there shouldn't be a double standard, right? You should hold
Sure.
everyone to the same standard,
Hmm.
even if the GM or the owner of the Browns insists that Deshaun Watson's 1 year away from turning around the perception on the contract, which, whatever, you live in that fantasy land. But I hope
Hmm.
not. I hope that doesn't happen. I hope that people can recognize that everyone's
Right.
individual, right? Everyone's different. You have individual decisions and individual choices. So
Yep. And hopefully this investigation shows nothing, and then we can semi move on, and Diana can enjoy time with her family, and Mike Vrabel can continue to coach the Patriots to the best of his ability.
Agreed. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Is there anything else we want to touch on before we have some fun?
No, I'm ready for it. I just figured that that was a relevant enough story that probably
Absolutely.
should touch on it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I'm glad you brought that up. But okay, so for this mock draft, do you want the evens or the odds?
Hmm.
So basically, do you want to get the free middle space on the bingo card with Mendoza at one?
Sure, I'll take the free bingo space.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, so you'll have odds and you'll have the NFC East, which actually that works out perfectly because the Giants have five and the Commanders have seven. Those are odds.
All right.
Cowboys
And the
have
Eagles are
12 and
23.
20, so yeah, the Cowboys are
Oh,
12
that's
and
right.
20, so they're odd man out. They're always the odd man's out. But so yeah, that kind of works. Okay, let me send the request here to share. Alrighty, I have the simulator up. Okay. All right. Let's get this show on the road, as it were. All right, so you have the first pick. So, I mean, I don't know what you're going to do here. It's it's difficult. Do you want to go, let me see. Do you want to go with like, I don't know,
I don't know, maybe Caleb
the
Downs. Oh yeah, yeah, kicker.
maybe a
Will Ferrell's a
punter?
great one to take
Yeah.
by.
Yeah. Number one overall. Is that what you want to do? Yeah, yeah. Well, there's 11 trade offers. That's wild.
I want to see what those trade offers are.
Actually, I don't think I can do trades with um I have the free version, so I have to
What?
actually pay for it to unlock trades. That's the sticking point with PFF. PFF has an awesome simulator. It's really good, but they do require some financial investment in order to fully use their system, which I get. But so we can't do trades
All
with
right, all right. Let's go to
with
draft a
this.
player. I guess we'll take Fernando Mendoza with the first overall pick. We'll
Are you
settle.
sure? Okay.
Yes.
I mean that's a stretch, but I'll do it. That's if that we were sure about.
Yeah, let's go for it. Why not?
Okay. Okay. Let's see what happens. See if it actually works out that way. Um. Okay. So now I'm on the clock at two. So for the Jets, they need like 100 players on their roster. They have so many needs. So they just basically need best player available at every single pick. And they have two first round picks, which is kind of interesting. And it's interesting what to do at 16 because here it's like between three players, honestly. It's between Arvell Reese, Ruben Bain, and David Bailey. Some just insane pass rushing or probably the best overall defensive player. And I think that's where I'm going to go is, in my opinion, the best overall defensive player. He's not as good as pass rusher as these two guys. Those guys are elite. Ruben Bay Jr., David Bailey. But Arvo Reese just has it all as a linebacker. And the Jets need everything. So I'm going to give them, in my opinion, probably the second best overall player. I think Jeremiah Love is probably the best overall player in this draft. But Arvo Reese is right behind him, and they already have Brees Hall, so they didn't need Jeremiah Love. So I'm going to go Arvo Reese for the Jets. All right. You're on the clock with the cards.
Hmm.
Let me know if there's a position you want to look at or whatever you need.
I am just trying to think here. I'm really struggling with what the Cardinals are going to do because they might be
Yeah.
one of the more interesting teams when it comes to outlook for the draft.
I think they're a prime trade down candidate in this
Yeah,
draft,
that's
honestly.
exactly what I was thinking. And I want to
Hmm.
stay true here to the fact that we are not trading down. And so,
Hmm.
yeah, Arvell Reese was a good pick. I definitely can see that happening. they're not going to take Jeremiah Love. I don't think that that makes sense. Um,
Yeah, I kind of agree. They have some young running backs on that team that can do something, even though they're not, none of them are Jeremiah Love, but I think three is a little bit of a stretch for him.
I think I'm not going to disagree with the rankings here, but I think David Bailey, Texas Tech edge would make
Hmm.
sense, especially with the fact that Josh Sweat sounds like he's not happy and might not be the long-term answer, and they do need
Mm.
someone else to really pair with him. So let's go with David
David
Bailey.
Bailey, awesome. Yeah, he's probably the best overall edge rusher. I'll have some thoughts on Ruben Bain here in a second, but yeah, Dave Bailey has it all. I mean, he has every single move you'd want as an edge rusher. He's fast, he's strong, he's great against the run. So yeah, I like that pick. Help them out on defense. Because I mean, this draft has some really good players, but it doesn't have that like five or six just elite guys that most drafts have. And so sometimes you just got to pick the best player, and David Bailey, good chance he was the best player there. All right, so for me on the clock with the Titans, this one is very interesting because Jeremiah Love is it does make some sense, but I don't know. I just think that with that coaching staff, I think with oh man, Saleh. Saleh is a defensive mind. I don't know if he is going to want to take a running back with his fourth overall pick. I don't know. I do see it because Jeremiah Love, it's hard to pass up on such an elite talent. But at the same time, they do have two pretty good running backs there. And you want to draft BPA to a need at the same time. And the difference between Jeremiah Love and Ruben Bain Jr., in my opinion, isn't like a big gap. And I think Jeremiah Love for the Titans specifically would be kind of like a nice player to have, but not necessarily something that's going to help their team immediately. So I'm going to kind of go off the norm and I'm going to go Ruben Bain.
Mhm.
I think this is a good value there. He is either the best or the second best pure pass rusher in this draft. And the Titans really need that. Robert Saleh loves to blitz and get after the quarterback. And this guy is just power all day long. And he's just one of those rough and rugged, just snot-nosed football players that Saleh's going to love. So I'm going to give them Ruben Bain Jr. And Jeremiah Love is still on the board. And let's see if the Giants want to pick him up because that'd be interesting to combine him with Cam Scatterbo. So let's see where you're feeling with the Giants.
I think they're going to go offensive lineman here, especially with Jackson Dart as their quarterback.
Okay.
Um, the part I'm struggling with is who will be that offensive lineman. I think it's going to come down to Spencer Fano or Francis Mauigoa. Is that how you say his name?
Either that or Margoa. So it's either Marigoa or just Margoa. I'm not for sure. So apologize, Francis, if we're not getting your name right. We didn't. We're not great at names on this show.
No, that is not our expertise.
No.
I I think they would go Francis here. So let's go ahead and use
Okay.
that pick. And I think they'll
Okay.
prioritize offensive line, especially with the fact the plan is to still have Jackson Dart be the quarterback.
And honestly, that makes a lot of sense to me because the best pass rushers are off the board. To me, it's probably between Styles or Francis, because like you said, they want to protect Jackson Dart, and they have good receivers now. They have Isaiah Likely over there now, have a good coach, and I like the running back room. I mean, Jeremiah Love will be the best running back on their team if they drafted him, but again, it's not like there was a hole there because Cam Scatterbo showed some good stuff last year. So I
Agreed.
like that. I like that going tackle, getting that O line solidified. So next up is the Browns, and this is if this falls like this to them, that they need offensive line help for sure. But if this falls like this, then they're going to be thrilled because they have the opportunity to get one of the best defensive players in this draft and the best wide receiver. And I think they're going to go with the best wide receiver. I think
Mm.
they're going to go Carnell Tate. I know it's like in PFF's rankings, it's a little bit of a reach, but they don't need running back. their linebackers are actually pretty decent because they drafted Schlesinger last year in the second round. He was like I think the defensive rookie of the year if I'm not mistaken. So they don't really need that. Their defense is actually pretty good at every level. Now it's hard to pass up these elite defensive players, but the wide receiver position for the Browns is such a gaping hole, and drafting Carnell
Yeah.
Tate here at 6 isn't necessarily a reach. He's the best receiver on the board, and he's got all the tools, the best route runner. He's awesome. So I'm going to go Carnell Tate for the Browns.
And then for me with the Washington Commanders, I think they'd be thrilled that Jeremiah Love somehow fell to them. And so I think that they will take
Yeah.
that and run that pick up to the podium.
Even though they have like 8 running backs on their team now because they signed 3 free agents, they signed like Rashad White. I mean, the amount of free agent running backs they signed is I was confused because it's like you can only play like 2 of them a game, and they have like 5 on their roster now, but all of them are kind of like RB2s. All of them are like, just a kind of a guy that you can trust to run the ball, but no one that's gonna knock your socks off, nobody elite. So yeah, this is kind of the spot at pick 7 where everyone said is the floor for Jeremiah Love. Like this is the last spot where he's not getting past that spot. And I do understand that. I'm still weirded out by how many running backs the Commanders do have, but a player like this, it's hard to pass that up. So I completely get it. We'll give love to the Commanders. Makes a lot of sense. All right. Now to the Saints. So I think they had their eyes on Carnell Tate this draft. And if the Browns didn't take him at 6, the Commanders weren't going to take him at 7, I don't think, because they have Clorin. And I know Debo's a free agent, but there's a chance he might still come back. So if he doesn't go at 6, the Saints would probably already have the card written out, and they're going to take just turn in Carnell Tate. But he's off the board, and they do need some linebacker help. And Sonny Styles kind of quote unquote falling to 8. I think that'd be a very good consolation prize. I think their number one is receiver, but after that, best defensive player on the board, and Sonny Styles is still there. He's that athletic freak that crushed the combine. So I think the Saints would love to help out their linebacking core and go with Sonny Styles here. All right, the Chiefs are on the clock at 9.
We're gonna go Delane from LSU.
That makes so much sense. That's a very common mocked player to them. They lost McDuffie. They traded him to the Rams. So yeah, this is basically like a
Well, they
McDuffie
lost. I
replacement.
think they lost both their starters to the
They
Rams,
did.
right? Yeah,
They did.
which is
Yeah,
bizarre.
this is just like a McDuffie replacement on a rookie contract. Um, Delane has been, I mean, they call him Delane Island in college.
Yeah.
He was a shut down corner. So that makes way too much sense. And honestly, number 10 after I picked this, easy draft pick for Caleb Downs to go to the Bengals because all they care, they are not going to be picky. They're going to be like, we're just going to sit here at 10, and whoever the top defensive player shows up, we're going to draft. If it's Sonny Styles, if it's an edge rusher, if it's a safety, who cares? We need everything. So
We do.
Caleb Downs here at 10, they're not going to take much time unless there's trades. There's going to be a ton of trades. So we're not doing trades right now. But right here, Caleb Downs makes way too much sense. There is some steam that Thieneman could be drafted before Downs. I don't see that. I think it's going to be close. Like I think Thieneman's going to be drafted really close next to Downs. Like, I mean, Cowboys at 12 makes some sense, but I don't think Thieneman's going over Downs. I think Downs is a better safety, and I think that the Bengals here are going to absolutely love taking them some Caleb Downs. All right, you get the next 3 picks actually because of the Cowboys at 12. But the Dolphins here at 11. And they need a lot of help too because they traded everybody off their team.
I sure do. I think Mekhi Lemon from USC will be the pick here.
Yeah, wide receiver makes sense. Yeah. You sure they don't take Sadiq?
I mean, no, I don't think that offense. Well, I guess we'll see. We'll have to see what offense Green Bay's going to bring because maybe Kenyon does make sense and they'll look for a Tucker Craft-esque player. and Sadiq
Sure.
could fill that role. But I think right now you have to take care of the wide receiver room. They have
Absolutely.
nothing. I cannot believe.
Hmm.
I really don't know what the Dolphins are doing. The trading Waddle to me was very surprising.
Yeah. They're looking at next year's draft. They're not looking at this year's team. Like we're looking for the future. So, I mean, they got a first round pick for Waddle, which I mean that's good. But yeah, they have nothing on their team. So they need all the help they can get. So yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Mekhi Lemon going to the Dolphins. Now, what do you think that the Cowboys are going to do here at 12?
Oh, can you scroll down a little bit
Absolutely.
and then go back up? Well, there's one thing that I feel like I know about Jerry Jones is he's following his board, and the board almost never follows exactly what NFL scouts say the board is. Not scouts, but
100%.
so I'm looking around here and I'm trying to see. I think so. I'm going to say two things. If it was me, I think Thieneman from the Oregon would be
Oregon.
um, the pick, but I don't think it's going to be that. I think, can you scroll down one more time?
Yeah. You know, Jerry, he loves to make that splash play, whatever it is.
I think it's McCoy. Jermon McCoy from Tennessee is going to be the pick here. I think he's going to look
Yeah.
at the secondary. I'm just trying to think about Jerry Jones is not going to do what I think he's going to do. So I'm trying to think about, okay, what would he do that's going to surprise me? And I think that would be like,
Hmm.
okay, I can see where he's going, but that is not what I anticipated. So we're gonna go with that at that spot.
Okay. Okay, but real life, I think that they are a prime candidate to trade up because you know Jerry, he's like, I got to make a splash. So my just gut feeling is they combine 20 and 12 and go to like six or something and pick the best defensive player. Like maybe they go get a Caleb Downs or something. But here at 12, get McCoy makes a ton of sense. A lot of people are still ranking him as the best corner above Delane. If he didn't tear his ACL last year, he was in that conversation. He had a great pro day, so that makes a lot of sense. Going defense for the Cowboys, they need a lot of help there. Now you're back on the clock with the Rams at 13, who stole
Yeah, I
pick
think
13
that
from the
the
Falcons.
Rams are going to be thrilled that Spencer Fano fell to them from the University of Utah.
Okay.
I know
Yeah.
wide receiver could be argued, but the wide receiver, I think they're going to bank on the fact that things are going to be just fine
Hmm.
uh, with the guys they got with Nakua and with Adams. So yeah,
Yeah.
Fano is my pick here.
Yeah. Makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. Okay. Now I get to go again, and now we're over with the Ravens, and they're going to be an interesting team because new coaching staff, um, new philosophy. Are they going to try to be a smash mouth football team with multiple tight ends like they were last year with Derrick Henry, Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely's gone now. So are they wanting to beef up just their meat and potatoes with guards and tackles and tight ends, or are they trying to be more spread with more wide receivers? Because they could definitely use some wide receiver help. So I think I'm going to lean that way, where they're going to want to get someone next to Zay Flowers because they never really had that. And there's a wide receiver out there that you don't see here yet, but he's from Arizona State, and there's a lot of people out there that just pure talent wise, think that Jordan Tyson is the most talented wide receiver in this draft, just pure talent. But he's had some injury history, so he's a little bit more of a risk. He's had some hamstring stuff, some knee stuff, so that's why he falls down a little bit. A lot of times he is the third wide receiver mocked. Usually it goes Tate, then Lemon, and then Jordan Tyson. But I think at 14, that's not a reach. That's fair value. And the Ravens could get someone that could truly pair up with Zay Flowers. And they could have something going on that offense for Lamar Jackson to get some more targets. So I love Jordan Tyson here. I'm going to go Jordan Tyson. All right, 15 with the Buccaneers.
I am struggling with this one, Andrew.
Some of these teams are tough to pick. Some of them are like, yep, I know exactly who they're grabbing. But some of these teams aren't as easy. Yeah,
I think that
I
they're going
feel
to
you.
go for, again, I feel bad that I don't know how to say this. Oleva Viga.
Oh, yeah, Ione. That's all I know is his last name. Ione. I don't know his first name, but his last name I'm confident is Ione.
But I think that's who they'll go for here. And I think the reason why is because the
Yeah,
offensive line injuries were detrimental
they
to
were
the team
bad.
last year. And
Yeah, Baker Mayfield got beat up last year.
I think that they'd be happy that he falls to them and they can start the process of getting a better line in place.
That makes total sense. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Oh, I get like the next three picks
You sure
because they
do.
got the Lions and Vikings coming up, and I kind of already have the cards in place, honestly. So the Jets, you're gonna love this pick. You're gonna love it. They're going Ty Simpson here. So I don't know that they're gonna pick him at 16. They might trade down, but I do believe Ty Simpson's going first round, because quarterbacks have such high value. I don't think Ty Simpson's a first round quarterback. I think a second round is perfectly fine, but there's always that team that reaches in the first round for their quarterback. And again, I don't think that they're going to pick him at 16. I think there might be a trade down or two. Like they might trade two and trade down to like, I don't know, 20 or something. And then at 16, they get a receiver that's there and then they get their quarterback later. But for them here, I'm going crazy. I'm going Ty Simpson because there's always chaos, and this is like my bold pick of the draft. I'm gonna go the Jets get Ty Simpson, and I'm gonna say that if they don't get Ty Simpson at 16, but if they do draft Ty Simpson in the first round, I'm still gonna take partial credit, not full credit, but I'll take partial. Like if they trade back up from the second round into like pick 28 or something, and they draft Ty Simpson, I'm like, hey, I called it. They didn't take him at 16, but they went and got him. And then this one right here is probably, well, actually, it's not as easy as I was thinking because there's two really good tackles, but they are going tackle. And Caden Proctor has been mocked to them so often, and that makes a lot of sense. But Monroe Freeling is still there. And I think I'm going to go with that one because I think he is a little bit better than Proctor. I think it's closer than what PFF has. They have 13 and what 27 as the ranks. I think it should be closer, but I do believe Freeling is a little bit better. So I'm going to give them Monroe Freeling. I think that's a pretty easy pick for them. And for Minnesota, there's two things here. So one, I truly believe they're going to trade back. I think that's a strong consideration, unless there's like someone really falls. And PFF having Thieneman ranked at 11, I think is a little rich. I think it's a little high. I think he should be basically ranked right where Minnesota picks at 18. So that is a strong consideration, but I don't know that they're going to do that. That's the popular mock, but I think they're going to get a safety in the second round. In the first round, like I said, they're going to trade back or just pick the best player available. Um, and right now, there's no one that really jumps out that they need. So if they traded back, they would probably get someone like, I don't know, Caden McDonald if they traded back in the high 20s, or maybe they would go Denzel Boston or Caleb Banks. Um, but right here, since I'm picking at 18, it really is a tough call between the top two because A, Thieneman is a need. It would make a lot of sense. But B, I think Sadiq is probably the best player available on the board.
Mm.
So that would make it really tough. Um, and I do believe they want to run more heavy personnel with the hire of Frank Smith. But since Dylan Thieneman isn't that much worse than Sadiq, and it is a true need outside of tight end because they have Hawkinson for one more year, I will take Thieneman here because he fell. But if Thieneman wasn't here, this would have been Sadiq because best player available. Again, I do believe Minnesota is going to trade back, but in this exercise, we're not doing that. So I will go Thieneman here. All right. At 19, this is you this time. And you have the actually you have the next three because the Cowboys are at 20.
Uh,
for the Panthers.
Let's go ahead and take Kenyon Sadiq.
I mean, it kind of makes sense. They do need tight end help over there, and it's hard to pass. I mean, in this draft, basically, once you reach a certain threshold, there's like 10-ish guys that are like, yeah, lock it in. We need to draft that guy. But after that, you're like, I can wait a little bit unless someone falls. Like in this scenario, if Sadiq wasn't there, you'd be like, I don't know. There's some good guys here, but that's fine. But with Sadiq there, it truly is tough to pass that up. And I know that's disappointing for you because you're close here. You're close, and these teams aren't drafting tight ends. They aren't doing it, but maybe this is an opportunity for the you guys to trade up. If Minnesota's to take them, maybe you guys trade up.
That's what I was
But
thinking. As I think that look to
yeah,
see if the Eagles and the Vikings work out a trade if
that
Kenyon
that's
falls to
that's
them.
possible. It's very possible. Yeah.
I think we should trade our first round pick. You trade your first round pick plus Grenard, and then we have a good trade.
So Grenard for 5 spots. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Just like I got to vent a little bit on I don't remember the guy's name. I think I actually brought it up in a previous episode, but there was a full 32 team first round mock trade that an ESPN writer wrote. I forgot what it was, but he wrote that Minnesota, a proposal he had, like an idea he has an idea for each draft slot that the Rams at 13 would trade 13 to Minnesota for 18. So Minnesota trade up would go up 5 spots, 18 to 13. And in exchange, they would send a fourth round pick this year. No, 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 no. Excuse me. No. One of their third round picks this year and McCarthy to go up 5 spots. I was like, are you crazy? Are you insane? Do you need to take a drug test or something? Because that is crazy. If you said go up 5 spots and throw in your third round pick, and that was the final in a discussion, that makes sense. Yeah, go up 5 spots for a third round pick, but a third round pick and a rookie quarterback or a quarterback on his rookie contract, that was crazy. Anyway,
Yeah.
that didn't make any sense. But for here, Sadiq, I agree, that makes sense. So now let's see what the Cowboys want to do at 20. So far you drafted who was it? The corner from Tennessee, McCoy. So
Yep.
that's who you drafted the Cowboys so far. So there's still safety, there's still edge rusher out there. Two edge rushers that are really good because they don't have a Parsons guy on their team anymore.
Yeah, I'm looking at it, and I guess that the linebacker is treating as an edge their needs because the linebacker in the Cowboy system
Yeah,
played an edge role, which is weird to me that it says linebacker.
yeah. It's kind of odd, but yeah, I think that edge is a higher need for them than linebacker. But I mean, both of those options are here with CJ Allen and Messidor.
Let's go with Akeem Messidor. I think that's who they're going to take in this spot.
I like it. I like it. Try to replace Micah Parsons with the first round draft pick. All right, now you're back on the clock with the Steelers. This is also a prime Simpson pick, but well, too bad he's not there anymore. The Jets snagged him.
Wade, rub it in, Andrew. Can you scroll down a little bit for me?
Absolutely.
I think can you scroll back just a little bit to where I can see the tackle at 25 or at 20? Yeah.
Blake Miller.
I think they're going to go Blake Miller.
Yeah, their offensive line definitely needs some help. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. Blake Miller's been one of those guys that everyone loves in the locker room. He's kind of do it all kind of guy. He has somewhat of a cap ceiling from what I'm hearing, but every coach loves him, so that makes a lot of sense. Um, so now I'm back on the clock here with the Chargers, and this one's interesting because they have some holes. A lot of people think that the Chargers are like one player away. I don't know if that's true. They need O-line help, and they need a couple pass catchers and maybe some secondary. So, I mean, McNeil Warren makes some sense here for them. They don't really need a linebacker. They have good backers. And there's not really. guards left. They don't need tackles because their two tackles could be the best in the league once they're healthy. They were both injured last year, but when healthy, they might have the best tandem in this league. It's their guards that they need help with. And I mean, the next guard available is not till a second round grade. So I don't think they're going to reach that far. So I think what makes the most sense for them is if they're sticking to picking a 22, which is this is the exercise that they will go with McNeil Warren to help out their safety room, help their secondary out, and he probably is the best player on the board right now. He's kind of one of those missiles that gets launched out of a cannon and just goes and hunts. He's not the best as far as coverage goes, but he hunts and he hits. So I'm going to give them McNeil Warren. All right. You are on the clock with your Eagles, and this is what the board looks like. It didn't really fall perfectly for you in this exercise. The safeties are gone, and Sadiq is gone, and the top receivers are gone, and it didn't land perfectly for the Eagles in this scenario. But we all know they have plans. They're probably going to trade up and possibly take Sadiq.
Hmm. I'm trying to think who they're going to take. I think,
Hmm.
man, this does not feel ideal.
Yeah,
I think they'll go Cassius Howell from Texas A&M.
Anum. Okay,
Yeah, I
edge
don't
rusher.
think.
Yeah.
Well, actually, hold on. Wait a minute. I think they'll take Caden Proctor. This is how the draft falls. I could see them talking themselves into taking Caden Proctor because of the way
Okay.
the board fell, and they feel like he has the
Hmm.
best value at the spot.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You guys had a lot of injuries on the O line, and Proctor probably wouldn't start right away, but who knows what happened with Lane Johnson. So that makes sense. And like you said, the board didn't fall quite right, which happens. That's the NFL draft. So you got to adjust. And yeah, I like that. All right. Now the Browns. And who did we take? We could Carnell take. So they have the receiver. So now they probably need some O line or um, maybe another receiver. That wouldn't be a bad thing because they need a ton of help. Let's see what we have. Oh, well, it's not a super reach to take Ian Achor. He is the best offensive lineman available. And this is, again, a prime possible trade down spot if anyone wants to trade. But since no one's going to be trading this scenario, might be a little bit of a reach for Ian Achor, but they need to fix their O line. And he is a solid tackle. He would probably start for them right away. So I'll go Ian Achor. And then I have the next up with the Bears. So the Bears, they need a lot of secondary help because their corners didn't come back. They cut them all basically. They need safeties, and as PFF says, they need a center because their center retired.
Mhm.
They're definitely not drafting a center yet.
Wait,
The center
I thought they
class,
picked up a center that they traded for one.
yeah, they traded for Garrett Bradbury, but he is not someone
Yeah.
that's going to be there. I mean, you ask any Patriots fan. We have some in our chat. Garrett Bradbury did not do very well last year. He is a starter, but you want better. Um, so I do think they are going to draft one. Might not start right away, but this isn't an area where centers are drafted. They're drafted all in the third round. That's the prime center area. I know because Minnesota needs a center, and I looked through a lot of mocks. So the board didn't really fall perfectly for the Bears in this scenario. They need secondary. Their D line can use some help, but if they're going to take BPA, Keldrick Falk is just sitting here, and he is a very underrated edge rusher. And the Bears were one of the least successful pass rush teams in the NFL. So I think they would run and turn this card in. It's not necessarily a need, so to speak, but it is a Very useful player for them to have. So I'm going to go Keldrick Falk, and I do not like that because I do not want to see him rushing my quarterback. But got to take the best player for them. And then I am back on the clock with the Bills here. And honestly, they need linebacker help, and CJ Allen kind of fell to them according to PFF's mock rankings. PFF has them ranked number 18, and we're at pick 26 here. So I think that CJ Allen makes a lot of sense. They might go Cooper. I mean, I know they just traded for DJ Moore, but I'd still say they could use another receiver. But I'm gonna go the best player available. I'm going to go CJ Allen. And now you're back up with the 49ers. The 49ers are on the clock.
Oh, this draft has been super tough, man.
Yeah,
Okay,
we're getting there.
Cassius Howell. That's who I think they'll take in a spot. I felt like that the Eagles would be a little bit
Yeah.
of a reach, but I think this fits really well at the 49ers spot.
That yeah, I hear you there. They need someone to go next to Bosa. That makes a lot of sense. Beautiful. All right, Texans at 28. There's not a lot that they need in this area because right now in this area, it's a lot of defensive players, and their defense is elite. But what they could use is another receiver. So for the Texans, I think I'm going to go either Denzel Boston or Cooper Jr. because they have Nico, but after Nico, Tank Dell might come back. That'd be great for them. But after that, they are struggling. So I think I'm going to go Denzel Boston. I really like his game. I really like Denzel Boston. He's a great outside receiver. He can paired with Nico, and if Tank Dell comes back healthy, him in the slot, I think that'd be a great tandem because there's not really any O linemen here. The Texans could use some O linemen, but there's just nobody here. The board didn't fall to them, so I'm gonna take Denzel Boston to the Texans. All right, pick 29 for the Chiefs. So you got Mansour Delane at pick 9. So now here at 29, what do you think that they will do?
I think they're going to double dip and take Avion Terrell from
Yeah,
Clemson.
yeah, he is AJ Terrell's brother that plays for the Falcons.
Okay. Yeah, I think they're
Yeah,
going to double dip and take another cornerback.
that makes sense. Yeah, he's probably the best player available, and that would completely shore up that secondary, and their secondary would be elite.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay, the Dolphins at 30. Who'd we have the Dolphins pick before? We had Makai Lemon. So, you know what? Let's just give them another receiver. Let's have them double dip at receiver and go Omar Cooper Jr. If they went Makai Lemon and Omar Cooper Jr., that'd be kind of crazy at receiver for that Dolphins team. So I am going to go Omar Cooper Jr. for the Dolphins at 30. Double dip because there's not really anyone here that they could use. Again, probably a prime trade down spot because they need O lineman. They might go Colton Hood here. That could be, it's not a super reach. That would make some sense, but I want to be crazy. I'm going to have them draft two wide receivers in the first round. Let's go Omar Cooper Jr. All right. Now we have the Pats at pick 31. Where do you think New England's going to go? Um, there's some guys still here. I mean, Kay McDonald's a good player. TJ Parker's a really good player. Caleb Banks is here. Where do you think that the Patriots are going to go?
Um, yeah, just trying to think here. I just don't know what the Patriots are going to do.
Yeah.
Because I just don't think the tackle board falls within the way that it needs to.
hmm Yeah, the best tackles all the way down to Caleb
Yeah,
Lomo at
I
38.
don't think that's going to happen.
hmm
I know it's
There are
not.
still some good players,
I
but
think
yeah,
Caleb McDonald makes a lot of sense for them. And I know that they have quite a bit of interior game, but there isn't a mentality have embarrasses of riches in a single spot. So I'm
hmm
thinking maybe there. What about, can you scroll down a little more for linebacker? Yeah, I just don't
I
think
can
so.
I could even do this for linebacker. So yeah, the next one is Rodriguez at 45. Now, I would not be super shocked if Jacob Rodriguez did sneak into the first round because
Hmm.
he was sneaky good at just getting a ton of turnovers, making a ton of plays. So I wouldn't be shocked, but it still might be a little crazy for him to make the first round.
I think I'm
Um,
gonna go with Katie McDonald, and I think that
okay,
that's just because of the player. Um, so
okay,
yeah,
I like that. Beautiful. And then last but not least, the Super Bowl champs, Seattle Seahawks. So they don't have a lot of glaring holes. Their O-line was pretty good last year. They did lose some pieces in the secondary. I think their safety went to the Bears. I think they lost a corner. Yeah, their corner went to you guys, to the Eagles. I forgot who it
okay.
was,
Reek
but
one.
yeah, that's right. Wallen, yep. So Colton Hood wouldn't be a super reach. TJ Parker for some edge rushing help would be a super reach. Um, I think I'll go corner. I think I'll go Colton Hood here for the Seahawks because outside of I forgot his name, their main corner. Not thinking of his name, but outside of him, their secondary is kind of sketch now that they lost Woolen. So I'll go Colton Hood. He's a solid boundary corner. He can help them out. So that's where I'll go for the Seahawks. All right. Our full first round mock. Let's get rid of all that so we can just see what we did here.
And it's Devin
I
Witherspoon.
like it.
Man, cannot believe I couldn't remember who that was. They do
That's
have
right.
Josh Jobe though. Josh Jobe is who they picked up.
Yeah,
So
but still, you need more than two corners in this
for
league.
sure. Yeah, I mean it's fair. I'm not saying that Colton Hood's a bad pick. I'm just saying that
Hmm.
for context purposes.
Sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. I like this. This was a lot of fun. I'm gonna take some screenshots of this so we can see how well we did. But this is our round one mock draft with no trades. Now, if we did some
Did
trades,
they
that'd be
give any grade
fun.
on PFF?
Since this is a full team, they didn't really do that. If you did a single team, they would give you draft grades for each pick.
Uh,
But since it's the full first round, they don't really do that when you do that. So,
I think that'd be cool to grade
but
people based on how they pick for an entire round. But I see what you're saying.
yeah, that will be cool because obviously this is an A plus. Every pick is gonna land exactly how we did it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I hate that Caden Proctor pick by me for the Eagles, but I just if that's how the board falls, I could see that happening. Although I'm telling you, if Kate
Yeah,
Sadiq falls to 18, I really can't see
call us.
trading up.
Absolutely, we're open.
Of course
Minnesota's.
you're open
I'm.
for
I'm.
business, Andrew.
No, honestly, we are open because um, if the board fell the way it did, and let's just say Thieneman was there, but Sadiq was there too, we openly would pass up Thieneman and take a safety in the second round if we're going to get some draft capital
Hmm.
because that second and third round is deep. That's where you can make your hay, and we are fine dropping down a little bit, maybe to get another day two pick. Like send us your third round pick to move up 5 spots. Would probably accept. Sure, make it happen. We might ask for a second, but if you say no, we'll only give you your third. All right, let's do it. And then we have another day three pick or day two pick in the third round that we can solidify some holes in our team. And then we still get a first round pick. So, yeah, if Sadiq's there at 18, call us. We're open for business. Now, if he's not and it's just the Inman, you guys probably wouldn't call. But hey, Minnesota's going to trade down. I have very high confidence in that because they're playing their hand not even close to their chest. They're outwardly saying, we are looking in the second and third round, we're looking in the depth, and we're looking at a 2027 draft. So I wouldn't be even surprised if they traded pick 18 for a 2027 draft pick. Like, give us your first next year, and we can talk. We'll just give it to you straight up. That might be something that happens. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean it's tough to say at this point, man. So,
Yeah.
and it also just depends on what type of trades happen because
Oh, yeah.
the Jaguars Browns trade really blew up the draft last year, and then the Falcons Rams
Hmm.
trade made it even worse.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if this has happened often, but I think there were 3 or 4 teams that have two first round picks. So, the
You got the
Chiefs,
Cowboys, you got the
the
Chiefs,
Dolphins, the
Dolphins,
Cowboys, the Jets,
Jets. It's your four.
And the Browns. That's five.
Oh yeah, yep, the Browns. Crazy,
Five teams have two first round picks. That's wild.
crazy, crazy that
Yep.
almost one third of the picks are tied up between five teams.
Hmm. Yep. Pretty much. Pretty much. They control this draft basically, and I wouldn't be surprised if they packaged it to trade up or ask for a 2027 first round pick if someone really wanted it. But that's the other issue. And then we can wrap this up. I don't know, even though a lot of teams want to trade down. I know Minnesota wants to trade down. Who wants to trade up? That's going to be the question because the first 10 picks are going to be good players. People could trade up for those. But after that, teams are like, no, we'll just wait till we get to our pick and see what's there and we'll be fine. But like Minnesota 18, I doubt Sadiq would last that long, but he'd be the only player I could see people want to trade up for is Sadiq. Outside of that, people are like, Thielman, he's a really good player, but we can wait till EMW or we can wait till like Ramsey in the second or third round. We can wait. We don't have to trade up to take the Thielman. Sadiq would be the only guy I could see people doing that for. These tackles, they're good, but I mean, we don't have to trade up to take them. There's a little depth there. The edge rush um, class this year is probably the deepest in this whole
Deepest.
class.
I would
There's a
agree.
lot of edge rushers in this class and sneaky some corners as well. So who's all going to trade up? We'll have to see. Trade up in the first top 10. I can see that happening a few times. But after that, I think some teams that want to trade down might just kind of be out of luck because no one wants to actually move up that far
Yeah.
because they're like, no, we can just wait. So,
Yep. That's fair. Yep.
okay. Well, any other comments on this mock draft that we just did?
No, that was good, man. It was good to see how we picked, and I'm glad I got the free space. Thanks for the free space, Andrew. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, we got one right. We know that.
Yeah, we'll see how the rest go. It just depends on who gets traded or what picks get traded and who
Yep.
picked up those
And
picks.
you know that we have 32 players here. We probably have between four and six wrong, where four to six of these players probably aren't going to be drafted in the first round because there's going to be some
Yes.
players that get
Well, the Ty
reached
Simpson
on.
one is the biggest question mark in my mind. I still am not sure if he's a first round pick. I see what you're saying, and I see the fifth year option as being a compelling argument, but we
Hmm.
will see if Ty Simpson really does go in the first
And
round.
I'm kind of on the other side. I have strong belief that he's going to be. Now, I don't think he's going to be at 16. Let me preface that. But I do have strong belief he is going to be a first round pick because the Jets, I think they either have the first pick in the second round or the second. So I can easily see them saying, hey, I don't know, Texans at 28, there's nobody there for you. We'll give you our second round pick this year, maybe our second round pick next year. Give us 28, and then they'll draft Ty Simpson there. Something like that. I can see that happening. Absolutely.
Interesting. Well, we'll see what happens, man. It's can't wait. We're only a little over 1 week away. 9 days.
Yes.
9 days
Yes.
away.
Yes. This many days. 9 days.
Yep.
And then we'll have to do one more Eagles and Vikings full 7th round mock with trades, all that fun stuff. We'll do that next. But thank you all for joining us in this full 1 round mock draft. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and we will see you next time.
We'll see everybody.